Homemade ice cream in 40 minutes with no pre-freezing required. I've tested a lot of ice cream makers over the last few months, but just when I thought I was done, I found one machine that produced some surprising results and might just prove that the machine you make ice cream in has more impact on the flavour than you might think. In this video, I'll tell you how this machine differs from other models I've reviewed, test it with 3 batches of ice cream, and compare the results side by side with the same ice cream made in the Ninja Creami. This is the Cuisinart Professional Standard Compressor Ice Cream Machine. I actually bought this 4 months ago and I've been totally distracted by all the other ice cream makers I've tested this summer, and this has sat in a box in the corner waiting to be reviewed. With summer coming to an end, I thought I'd dig it out and give it a test so I could move it on and free up some space. I did not expect it to produce the results that it did, and for everyone who sampled the ice cream to be quite so obsessed with the results. So first of all, if you're new to home ice cream makers, I want to briefly explain how this one differs to others that I've tested recently. There are basically 3 types of ice cream machines. There's ones like the Ninja Creami where you blend the ice cream mix after freezing for 24 hours, and I've tested 3 of those now. And then there's ones where you pre-freeze the bowl and then churn your ice cream in the frozen bowl, which is the type that I used to own. And finally, there's compressor ice cream makers like this Cuisinart one, which have built-in refrigeration system which chills the area around the removable metal bowl to sub-zero temperatures as you churn the ice cream. Compressor ice cream machines like this tend to be pretty large and heavy, and they are at the more expensive end of the scale. This one retails for around £300 or $300, but you can check out its exact price by clicking on the link in the description. One of the advantages of compressor machines is that they can be used immediately and you have the results in under an hour. But there's one caveat to that, which is that it has to be on a level surface for 24 hours before you turn it on. So in an ideal world, this appliance wants a permanent space on your kitchen worktop, or at least a permanent space for the summer months when you're likely to be using it most. If not, you need to make sure it's stored level or get it out 24 hours before you want to use it. And if you're making an ice cream that uses a custard base prepared on the hob, you'll also have to let that mix chill in the fridge before you put it in the machine. To make ice cream in it, place the 1.5 litre stainless steel bowl in the housing, turn the power on, and add one of the 2 paddles that it's supplied with. One is made for ice cream and the second one is made for gelato and sorbet and incorporates less air into the mix to create more intense flavour. If you want, you can run the machine empty so the bowl is cooling while you're prepping your ice cream mixture to give you a little bit of a head start. Because ice cream expands as it freezes, you can actually only add a litre of mixture to the 1.5 litre bowl. So that means you need to leave 4 centimetres clearance at the top, and even more if you want to add mix-ins later. One thing that I don't like about this machine is that there's no maximum line on the bowl, so you have to guess roughly where you can fill it to, or get a tape measure out every time you use it. Every recipe you make in the machine will take a slightly different length of time, but generally you'll see results in 25 to 45 minutes, after which you can eat it straight away or stick it in the freezer for about an hour if you want it to firm up more. If you want to add mix-ins like chocolate chips or crumbled cookies, you can do that towards the end of the blending process, and you can stop and start the blending at any point, and you can also take the lid off while the machine is running. Now, this isn't a particularly quiet appliance, but it's also not that annoying. It registered 79 on my decibel meter, but it's a pretty steady and consistent background sound, which you do get used to. When your ice cream is ready to serve or stick in the freezer, you have to get it out of the bowl and off the paddle, which can be a little bit tricky. I use these containers for ice cream, which are dishwasher safe, stackable, and can be pre-frozen, which helps keep the ice cream cool for longer while you're getting it out of the machine and off the paddle. You can find those linked in the description below. With the ice cream that gets stuck to the sides of the metal bowl, the best thing to do is turn the machine off or remove the bowl from the housing so that it can warm up just slightly so that you can get it off with ease. Do not give in to temptation and try to scrape the ice cream off the sides with something metal. I did, and learn from me, you will scratch the bowl. Use a spatula, and if the ice cream's not coming off immediately, be patient, wait a few seconds, and you will eventually get most of the ice cream off the sides and an almost entirely clean bowl. If you do make the same mistake that I did with scratching the bowl, you can buy a replacement relatively cheaply online, and they also sell replacement paddles and a lid. The beauty of this machine is that you can make batches of ice cream back to back because everything is so quick and easy to get cleaned. You can rinse the bowl and the paddle under the tap and then just quickly wipe down the surface of the machine and start a fresh batch within a couple of minutes. Now, before I get on to the results of the testing I did, if you're new here, my name is Clara. I make weekly videos that help you choose and use your home appliances. And if you'd like to see more videos like that, please do hit the subscribe button. So I tested out 3 batches of ice cream. The recipes for all of them are linked below. Batch number 1 was a lemon gelato combining cream, milk, sugar, a little salt, with lemon juice and zest. Next, it was raspberry sorbet with a sugar syrup mixed with raspberries, blitzed in a food processor and strained to remove the pips. And finally, a recipe with mix-ins, a simple vanilla ice cream made with milk, cream, sugar and vanilla essence, and broken pieces of Oreo cookies which were added in the last 5 minutes of churning. And so let's talk about the results. Now, all 3 batches were amazing, incredibly smooth, but firm consistency and absolutely bursting with flavour, particularly in the case of the lemon gelato and the raspberry sorbet. Everyone who tried them loved the results. I went down a whole rabbit hole researching whether the machine you use can actually affect the end results. And the verdict from the experts is that this method, which incorporates less air into the mix, gives more intense flavour and better consistency. I actually made another batch of the lemon gelato in the Ninja Creamy to test the theory and then did a taste test side by side with both batches. And although the results from the Creamy were good, the flavour of the batch that I made in the Creamy was not as punchy and the consistency was sloppy after churning. But I'm not quite done on my verdict. This may be the best ice cream maker that I've tested so far, but that doesn't automatically mean that this is the best ice cream maker for everyone. You've got to have the space for it, and it's also pretty heavy to move. So you've got to be really into your ice cream. If you want something easier to store, and it's mainly for making desserts for children anyway at the height of the summer, you may be better off with a smaller model like the Cuisinart Freeze Wand or something like the Swirl that also does soft serve, which is a huge novelty. But if you want amazing tasting ice cream, you absolutely cannot beat a compressor ice cream maker.